Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Hello! It does happen to be me, your host, Old Heart. You are a filthy hot dog. We all know that. Filthy, raw, uncooked hot dog. Let's call you that. This happens to be another episode of Coffee and Contemplation, perhaps your least most consistent podcast, mainly because I post it whenever the fuck I want to. Anyway, like I said, it's Coffee and Contemplation. Old Heart. I covered all the bases, I think. Particularly, I just wanted to shout out my fellow co-host and creator, Lucas. Just had a birthday. So go on to wherever you know him. If you're friends with him on Instagram or a text message, shoot him some words of acknowledgement. Happy birthday, belated or not. Anyway, so, shout outs to him. He works hard at whatever he does, and that's something I always appreciate about that cat. He likes to invest himself in his interests, and that's really fucking cool. And it's really rare to see people that really go there. Some people, they're just very surface. Anyway, so shout outs to him. Today, talking about somebody else who seems not as cool as my co-host, who seems maybe kind of more surfacey, we'll say. I'm going to talk about Ellen. Yes, Ellen DeGeneres. I don't really I gotta be honest, I have no mixed feelings about Ellen. I firmly believe that she probably is the piece of shit that everybody says, just coming out swinging. I really think she's kind of one of those I think she's been rich too long, and it's gone to her fucking head, and she has let that sort of she's built herself a throne above everybody around her. At least that's how it comes across. And a lot of people lately, since this quarantine has been happening, shout outs to COVID-19, aka COVID Cyrus, aka Cyrus the Virus, aka fuck. Shout outs since this has been going on. Some words have been going around about Ellen. So it all kind of started, I think, when she made this comment about how being quarantined in her big ass house with her wife and all of her shit is like being in prison, basically. And people online instantly started slapping back at that. Like, dude, not fucking true. Obviously, you and the comforts and the riches that you have, earned or not, whatever, is nothing at all like being in a prison. And definitely not like being in a prison right now, where it's like a prison in a prison right now, because you're basically just waiting to die from COVID in some of those jails. Not getting into that, but anyway, so Ellen just let out this really detached fucking message, like detached from reality message, and it slipped. And I think she has a very, very strong and well-developed wall that she puts up, and a public face that she puts up that doesn't show this kind of thing, but she probably cracked. Everybody has their moments, you know what I mean? And she probably let something through the crack, and she's like, God dang, being in this big house where I can't do anything I want, it's like being in jail. And everybody's like, no. And I'm sorry I said it, but truthfully, it's not. It's disrespectful to put yourself on that level. And especially even just from a not even middle class standpoint, it's insulting, because it's like, you have so much more than I. You have so much more space than I to be there. Me and my girlfriend, we've been quarantined for weeks together in our 900 and some square foot apartment. You know, you're talking about your fucking whatever. You're talking about your place. It's just not. It's not that cool. And so, like I said, since then, a lot of shit's been coming out about Ellen because, and I really loved this. This is one of the things I love about Twitter. Actually, I used to hate on Twitter so fucking much, and then I found some value to it. So you know, this comedian definitely showed me some value to it. So, what's his fucking name? Comedian Kevin Porter. He basically put out this thing where he was like, I'll donate $2 to a food bank for every like negative Ellen story I get. And he ended up donating like $600 to this food bank because he got so many fucking stories. Some of them were pretty like mundane, but some of them, you know, I'm just going to capture a couple here. So a lot of like what people are saying is that like it sounds like she really just kind of like puts herself above other people, you know what I mean? Like she won't like bother looking people in the eye, and she won't bother you know, even like acknowledging certain people. Like there's a story, shout outs to all you hot dogs listening, shouts to birthday boy Castle, aka Castle Roll, shouts to Avi, fellow creator, shouts to anybody, like I said, anybody listening, shouts to all of you. You're great, you're the one of the reasons this keeps going. The other reason is, well, you know, I just want something to do with my time. That being said, back to Ellen. So, you know, like one of the stories that came out was kind of alluding to, you know, like I said, her not really even like acknowledging people that she perceives below her. And like, including there's this story, what was it? It was like a story about this lady who worked for her for 2 seasons of the Ellen show, who would like kind of see her going down this hallway every day and like say, hi Ellen, you know, acknowledge her and like kind of like say how great it is to like see her, you know, because like obviously if you think, and so many people do, you think Ellen's this really fucking awesome, amazing, positive being. So she probably goes out of her way to try and get Ellen's attention every day to like say like, Ellen knows I'm here. And Ellen, and like for 2 seasons, Ellen walks by her, no eye contact, no acknowledgement. 2 fucking seasons, man. Bullshit, right? And there's like stories like that about like security guards. There's stories about how Ellen gets in the habit of getting puppies. She's a huge animal lover, right? Ellen's a huge animal lover. Used to be vegan. What a title. Used to be vegan. But anyway, there's a story about how she likes to get kittens and puppies, and like so many of us do, you fall in love with that little ball of fur, that little creature, and they grow up and they get a little bigger, perhaps a little less cute at times, still amazing, loving animals. But Ellen has a habit of, once they grow out of that like cute puppy stage or cute kitten stage, supposedly she pawns them off on family or like even staff, just kind of like forces adoption on people. Like, take it off my hands. I don't care what you do with it, or you better keep it. I don't know. ASMR. Gross. Which I think is a dirty, filthy habit, by the way. I think it's a really fucking filthy habit, especially because you get an animal attached to you. You take that animal away from its fucking fellow kind. You take it away from its brothers and sisters and mother, and you force it to bond with you. And then as soon as you get like visually repulsed by it or unpleased by it, it's not as cute anymore. You're just like, fuck it, get it out of my sight. Like, that's such a dick thing to do, man. Like, that animal knows you. It is familiar with you now, and you just cast it aside because it's not fucking cute anymore. But there's a lot of stories like that where things that are visually unpleasing to Ellen unpleasant to Ellen. Unpleasing? That's such a weird way of saying that. Unpleasant to Ellen, she gets rid of, like, she makes staff members and assistants change their wardrobe because she doesn't like what they're wearing. She'll be like, no, go home and change. She does the same thing with, like, there's stories of her doing that with smells. Like, she's extremely sensitive to smells, right? So she demands that people smell only a certain way. You know, all these things. So, like, this dude, like I said, Kevin Porter, ended up donating $600. He got so many negative stories about Ellen. And then a former bodyguard came out and started talking shit about Ellen. Yeah, even saying at an awards show once, Ellen had a pre-approved list of other guests that could come talk to her. Like, how fucking pretentious is that? I'm gonna sit here at my table with, like, in this big gala, and, like, there's only, like, a handful of people that are allowed to come up to me. That motherfucker tries to come up to me. Macaulay Culkin tries to come up to me and talk to me. Nope, not on the list. You better turn his ass the fuck around. Anybody who denies Macaulay Culkin, though, that would be such an interesting conversationalist, I imagine. Like, listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with Macaulay Culkin. Very interesting, actually. Seems like a legit human being. But Ellen does not. Ellen seems like a very two-faced individual. And, like, at times you see this shit leak out on her show. I don't ever really watch it that much. I would say I've never watched a full episode, honestly. But you see these moments, and one particular one that stands out is this one from that Ethan over at H3H3 called out years ago, where she, like, put up this camera while this lady was at this table and said, you can take, and this table had a bunch of merchandise that said you can take one free item. And this lady comes up and takes 2 items, right? And so Ellen, in the middle of her show, plays the clip and then calls the lady out on live television, right? And he's like, why'd you take 2 things? Like, it said only take 1. Why'd you do it? You're a thief. And then the lady explains, like, well, my sister really wanted to be here, and I just really, really wanted to get her like at least something. She just couldn't make it, so I really wanted to get her, like, a piece of memorabilia. Which is reasonable. And as Ethan points out on his podcast, he said, you know, Ellen did not pay out of pocket for this. It's all shitty merchandise anyway. But she calls this lady out on national television. On national television, calls this lady a thief, and it compares her to somebody who would steal your car. She compares her to a car thief, and then makes her sit in this, like, fake jail on stage. And it seems so maniacal and, like, just I don't know, it's just dirty. That's, like, the kind of thing I'm talking about, man. I think, like, rich people like Ellen, who have been rich for so long, just get detached from fucking reality, and then they start treating the people around them like shit. Bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Well, you know what's not bullshit? The fact that this has been another episode of Coffee and Contemplation. Yes, an old heart radio podcast. I hope you go out there and use your brains for good every single fucking day, because every day's a good day to ripen up your coconut, you know? Don't be a shitty person like Ellen, or if you're going to be a shitty person, at least be upfront about it. That's my only bugaboo. Just be upfront about it. We all know that shitty people exist. Just be what you are, I guess. Don't be two-faced like Ellen. We'll leave it there. Keep your stick on the ice.